Hello, Moon to Moon. It's Britten. It's been a little while. How are you? I'm so excited to do this episode for you today. In case you don't know this and you've just found this episode, the last few months I've been in a major launch for an annual course that I do. It's really an experiential container for big magic in group. And it was my sixth year of launching. It's called the Magician's Table. I do it in the spring. And it's a major promo. And I do a lot of podcasts to support it. So if you're a regular listener to Moon, you are aware that most of the episodes that I've put out in the last few months have all been TMT related, Magician's Table related. And then I took a little break when I completed the launch, precisely on goal, with 0 to 60, 60 spots taken. I took a break. My daughter had a spring break. And then, yeah, I'm here to tell the tale. I'm here to tell the tale behind the scenes of the Magician's Table launch 2026. This is the inside scoop. These are the things that I was doing. These are the things I bumped up against. This is how I would say we got what we wanted through the roof yet again. So, yeah, very fun. I'm excited to announce here for the first time today with you that I am launching a brand new offer for one on one. So, listen up. This is only for some of you. I don't do a lot of one on one anymore. I run community, school, big experiences with groups of people. And I have a few one on one clients. And I call everything that I do one on one witch sister. I am the witch sister. I am your witch sister. Usually, witch sister is a 6 month commitment. And I've decided to offer experimentally a 6 week version of Witch Sister. I'm only opening 3 spots a month: April, May, August, or September. 3 spots per month. I will initiate you. We'll do a 2 hour and then a 1 hour and then a 1 hour with voice messaging in between. I especially want to help those of you out there who are doing incredible work in the world and you just know that your promo could be bigger. You wish it was more fun. You wish it felt more creative. You wish it felt light. You wish it didn't feel cringy. You wish it didn't feel icky. You wish it was just clean and clear, that you're having a blast sharing about the amazing things that you're putting together for people to experience. There are reasons why it's complicated and hard, and it's energetic. So this isn't an offer to like teach you about promo, because that would be more like a class. This is relational magic where you and me, one on one, get to spend some time together where I can really see you and I can attune to you, and we can identify and extract the root cause of your fear with promo, your doubt with promo, your resistances to promo. Not because you never do it, so now you can, but because you do it and you know you could do it louder, bigger, more effectively, and it could be fun. It's not just about me helping you get different results in terms of number of people who come and the amount of money you get, because we're also going to be doing that. But I really want to help you see this as like a blast and so very fun and creative and magical, just like so magical. It's amazing. I want to help you get to those blocks, get to those resistances. This is extremely energetic. to help you see and clear out what's in the way of this like being so fun that you miss promo when you're not in promo. It's true. It really can be this way. So, this mentorship for 6 weeks represents for you, I'm fucking done with the old pattern. Like this represents for you, I'm ready to go. Let's just do this, Britten. And we're going to get in there and I'm going to attune to you because my gift is in being able to sit across from someone and see them. And that means I see through to those things and I can help you create doorways where you didn't see a door and you feel stuck. We're going to crack open these doorways. And then now you see movement. Now you see a way forward. Now you see a passage. And it's an intensive. I'm calling it the Witch Sister Intensive because it's going to be intense because it's pressurized because we're going to go deep in. We're going to go deep in and it's going to shake things up and you're going to say thank you because that's what you want. You want a shake up. You want a shake up. So this is for you if you're already like, yes, please. This is for you if you are already in promos, like you do promos, you've learned a lot about promo. You're not introducing yourself to promo. You're not asking me how do I do promo? Because that would be more beginner. You're somebody who actually does promo, but you want to be louder and more effective and more playful. You want it to not feel gross. And you want it to be audacious and like just a fantastic experience, sensational experience. Really like delighting in the very energetic that you're inviting your community into, which is like the embodiment of your power. So I specialize in vulnerable spaces, and this is a chance for you to become vulnerable with me so I can really see you and I can help you here. It's $3K for 6 weeks. So if you want to do April, you can claim one of the 3 spots and pay in full. If you want to do a later month, you can do a payment plan and we'll begin once it's paid. All you have to do if you want to claim one of these, there's only 3 spots in April, 3 in May, 3 in August, and 3 in September. One-on-one with me. Just reach out to my assistant, Stephanie, at info@brittenlarue.com. I cannot wait. I like could be in this alchemy. Like this could become my specialty because I mean, it is my specialty, but I have many specialties. I just love promo so much because it's like the deepest healing. It's such a healing experience. Like nothing is going to require your healing more than promo. And in the process, is going to require leaps into magic like you've been afraid to take. It's going to mean letting go of a lot of control from your protectors that are really not helpful at being in charge of this kind of thing. And I'm going to help you see all that in our one-on-one intimate relational magic that we're creating with one another here. So you reach out to info@brittenlarue.com, title it Witch Sister Intensive, tell Stephanie, who will forward it to me, what excites you about this and when you want to get started, and we will move you along and get it going. And you can take care of this once and for all. Okay. So here I go. Because this now is me riffing on promo. This is not relational, right? Like relational magic is I'm with you in that dark place and helping you see these things. And like we move it around. We move it around so that it metabolizes. So one more thing on Witch Sister Intensive. The 2-hour initiation is really where the big stuff happens. The reason it's amazing to have in the next 6 weeks is because then you go out into the world with that alchemy and like stuff is going to come up. You're going to want to be like, Britten, this is happening, and I can just respond through the voice messaging. I'm right there as things are coming up and you're like, I'm noticing I'm not posting. I'm noticing that I'm afraid of this. I'm noticing I have this contraction and I'm right there because you will have contractions from all this expansiveness. So the 6 weeks is about me staying there with you, helping you be with the thing that you're wanting so that, I can help stabilize you in the destabilization of big change. Okay. So the big launch, the big launch, the big launch. Okay, so um just like starting with some of the bare bones of this, especially for those of you who don't know much about the magician's table, but you found this because you were like searching for podcasts on behind the scenes of launches. I love behind the scenes of launches podcast episodes. I love to learn about like what people are doing and what people are trying. I think it's super fascinating. So this is for you. The Magician's Table is a space that costs every year a little bit different, but I have people paying anywhere from 700 something for 3 months on scholarship up to, I think the highest one was 1700, I think, because people are at all different places financially. And my most important concern is that you are stretched before you jump in because you want to be stretched for this because that's how magic works. The key is that you're not stressed so much that you collapse, that it's like too much for your system and like it's not possible to stay open and available for the expansion. And like in our world today, there's such a broad variety of what stretch means. So I included many options this year for people to self-select into the stretchiest option. And I also gave opportunities for people who were paying for or anyone to put a donation in for more scholarship support. And y'all, I brought in through these donations $1,500, which immediately went to people who needed the scholarships. Even when I had run out of seats for scholarships, I still had this scholarship money from the people that had so generously donated anywhere from like $25 to $500. So it's something that you can always try, is like if you want to designate a certain fraction of your seats to scholarship, you can also give people the chance to help you have more seats. And I just have a community where people really understand that like the presence of somebody's like genius, their magic, their value, that is not in proportion to their finances. It's in proportion to their character and to the seriousness and the integrity of how they show up. And my community is full of people who trust me that I'm bringing in amazing human beings, and not all of them can pay those upper tiers and they need scholarship seats in order to come at all. And so to me, it's just like such a signal of the generosity of my community and their trust in me that they're like, here, take this if it helps somebody be able to come. Because there's no full scholarship seats for the Magician's Table. At a minimum, you have to pay half the ticket. And so for some people, that is a huge stretch. And having that extra money really did allow me to help people out who otherwise really could not stretch. So, yeah, just so full of gratitude and awe at the human beings who offered to donate, who just knew that they could and they knew that it was important. So, very, very cool, very amazing. That's something you can always try. So, the Magician's Table is an application only space. So, it's kind of a complicated process. Like I have it, it's like it takes a team. It takes a team. I used to do all of it myself, and now I have a team. It's still complicated for me. It's complicated for everybody because I'm like that teacher giving everybody a different test to try to make the test fair to them. You know, like this is one where I like really I just want to make it possible for the right for the people who are meant for it because I really and truly believe that these seats are fated, that they are meant for certain people, and I'm helping them get there. Like my job as the steward is to help them get in people that are fated and trust that if they're not fated, they will move out of the way, which means if someone is moving out of the way, let them because that means they're not fated. And if they are, they'll end up coming back before the doors close, which happens. It happened again this year, just like it does every year. Okay, so the way it works is that basically I see myself as promoting the Magician's Table year round. I'm promoting the Magician's Table every time I open my mouth, not because I'm actually speaking about the Magician's Table, because I am in charge of like sharing who I am and the kind of person that I am and the kind of magic I'm interested in and the kind of integrity that I hold. And I am always in this way promoting the Magician's Table so that when the opportunity to open the door to the Magician's Table is there, you have been building your awareness of me and the kind of spaces that I have so that you can know in that moment looks like a vulnerable space, and I'm going to do it anyway because it's an extremely vulnerable, weird space. The application process is very vulnerable. You're speaking about your magic and you don't know, like, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to fit in? Who are these people that I'm about to be meeting with every week? I'm asking you to come to attend, that your attendance is required and you have to exchange readings with people every week. Like, I'm asking a lot. It's asking a lot. And um, you're going to be in circle sharing yourself, letting people see you experimenting with your magic. Super vulnerable. And it's a circle. So that's, I have not me, but I have 13th readers, I call them. They're assistant leaders who are also participants leading the circles, but also still exchanging readings as well. And so it's very non hierarchical, which is rule busting. It's disruptive. It breaks with the kinds of hierarchies that we learn to trust in, where we can give our authority to other people. So this is a space where you're not giving your authority to anybody. You are showing up in your authority and you're being witnessed in it. And you're tasked with reflecting other people's authority back to them. And because of the non-hierarchical aspects of the space, it's very confronting for anyone who like relies on hierarchy to feel good, whether you want to be on top or on bottom. It's just not going to work here. Like this space is going to blow out all these different protectors who have all of these stories about your power that are distortions from conditioning. So it's super disruptive. And so I'm marketing this space that's definitely not for everyone, that's extremely vulnerable, very disruptive to norms. Um, and it's also like not expertise based or like level based. Like I'm inviting beginners to be with experienced practitioners because I don't really care about how experienced you are. Like that's not what this is. This is not a place to come and be like, watch it, how amazing I am. I'm better at everyone or something. Or like, look at me. I've been doing this for 20 years. Like that kind of thinking is like not welcome by the table. Not, it's not so much me, but the table. And so it really like brings everybody into this humility level straight out of the gates that's like frightening of like, how will I belong if I don't rely on XYZ to make me safe here or to prove that I'm good? So the metrics of what make you good are like tossed out the window. And so it's very frightening because we're bringing you into a trust fall for you to actually find out what's really powerful about you. And our protectors find that so frightening inside of us. So it's a huge, like, it's a big kind of promo because it's not like I'm promoting a thing that is a sure thing for a broad swath of people. It's for a very specific person. And yes, I have tons of testimonials now, but that alone is not going to protect you from the spiral of uncertainty that this it often brings up. Now, usually about 10 to 15% of the people who apply are a fuck yes as soon as they find out. Yes, there are people who were like, Britten, I had no resistance. I couldn't wait for you to open the link to the applications. But these people are more rare. It's a rare person who's that sure that those people tend to come in on the first day that the doors open to the applications, or they come in along the way when somebody refers them and they find out about it because they just didn't know about it. So then they see about it and they're like, I'm in, like they know right away. But there's usually three chapters of the promo. Day one is when the first fuck yes people come in. And then towards the end of like early bird or some kind of deadline, the maybe people will turn into yeses. And then we are left with the number of seats that still haven't filled because it must fill. It's fated. And so then usually the last slew of people are people who either didn't know it existed or they previously were no's. They were no's and then they became yeses, which is like hyper magical feeling because like they told me to my face, Britten, it's not this year. I've got this and that. Like, maybe next year. Okay, cool. Like, my job is not to go keep trying to convince people who told me no. I'm looking for the people gonna that are like gonna come to a yes. And I don't know who they are. I just have to keep talking. And so many people came in this year at the end who I had specifically talked to and they told me no. So it's like I don't ever really give up on people who say no, but I just kind of energetically leave them alone because they're in their own journey. Usually the ones who come in who previously told me no, I knew they were going to come because I can just tell who's going to come. Um, and it's none of my business the process that it takes them through to get to their yes. That's not my business. That's their business at the table. My job is to just keep being loud. So I think that gives you a bit of a sense of the setup. The average ticket is about $1,200, 60 seats, and this year half the people who came didn't really know my work before. They came through referrals. They came through somebody who was either one of the leaders this year, a 13th reader, or Tegan West, the staff holder, who's like helping me with all the big magic behind the scenes and helping to nurture the 13th readers. Or they are friends with alums. They're friends with magicians that are already in. Like it was through referral, people who like weren't, they're not Britten LaRue people. They found out about it and they said yes to this big intensive, 3 month intensive based on a mix of trusting the person that referred them and trusting the energy that they were connecting to at the course page and in our Instagram promo. So, yes, that's those are some of the stats and analytics to share with you before I get into what I'm seeing are like the four keys of the launch. And I'm seeing these through the elements because the magician's table is an elemental space because the magician is at their table with the four elements through the cups, wands, swords, and pentacles. So, of course, some of these are kind of a mix of elements, but we're just having fun here. All right. So, first, I want to talk about air. I pulled a card for this and it was Queen of Swords. So, I'm giving the Queen of Swords the element of air. This really feels like for me as the steward, as I approach the magician's table, like summer is now ending. It's becoming fall. I'm aware that in winter, I'm going to be promoting magician's table and then holding it in the spring. I, as the steward, have some really important decisions to make. This is the sword that is decision making. To decide means to cut away, which means to kill all other options. They're cut out. So, one of my big jobs is to tune in to the magician's table in present time. What does that mean? That means that I have respect for this offering, that whatever this offering previously was, it is a living being, just like any other living being that I'm in relationship with and that I know. And they want me to respect what they're evolving into and to listen to who they're telling me they are now. In this case, it's like I'm attuning in October, September, October, November. I'm attuning to the table and listening for like who are you becoming and how can I help you? And that's when I need to make certain decisions about who is going to come in and be part of the team. Because who I pick for 13th readers is like a massive, massive, massive decision. And it's a choice among so many choices because I now, as head witch of Emergence Astrology School and Living Emergence Community, and over 200 people now being part of the Magician's Table, I know a lot of magical people. I know a lot of highly magical people. Like, there are so many people that I know that I could decide from to be 13th readers. And so this cannot be one I've learned that I labor over in a mental, logical, rational way. I'm not creating columns of pros and cons. I'm not thinking about who I should ask. I'm not thinking about who deserves me asking. I'm not thinking about like who is like strategically important because none of that actually matters. The information just comes. I just see who they are and then I ask them. And I just have to decide what's the number and how many cohorts are we going to have. So this year we had four 13th readers. One of them has two cohorts. So there's five cohorts. So that means I'm going to need 60 seats sold, filled, because 12 times 5 is 60. So they say, says the Pisces. So this is like a big thing that's part of my job is like trusting in the magic of who comes in to be 13th readers because the people that come in are coming to be in cohorts and they're coming to be in cohorts with their 13th reader and they're coming to be in cohort with each other. And there's an intelligence to that magnetism and it changes everything depending on who I ask to be 13th reader. And so when I sense the names or I sense the intelligence of who, I've just learned not to question it and not to just take the fucking direction. Like your life is so much easier when you just take the directions. I am very humble about this. Like I am not in argument with this process. I submit. I submit to this process humbly that I, Britten LaRue, don't really actually know that the table knows and the table will send me the information. And my job is to just be like, thank you. I understand. Thank you. And so it is. And numbers wise too, like the 13th readers like start to cohere and I'll be like, okay, I'm listening for one more in case there's one more. And like crickets, crickets, crickets. Like if there's crickets, it means we're complete. I even wanted to fight my, my guidance through the table on this and was like, so um I'm wondering how many 13th readers you want me to have this year. And I pulled four of discs. I was like, okay, four. But in my head, I'm like, but I think maybe we should have one more. So I'm like arguing with my deck. And it's like, how many more 13th readers though? After it's just told me four, I'm still arguing with it. Here I say I'm submissive, but I am a human being who's like, are you sure? So then my deck gives me the fool. Zero, Britten. We just told you it's only four. Okay. I've tried everything. I believe you. I know nothing. You know everything. I am your steward. I am your humble steward. I'll stop arguing with you. So I think that, clarity is there. It's just that we argue with it, y'all. So for me, strategy has a lot to do with just noticing where it is already clear, in fact. I'm making it not clear by trying to act like I know better or like make it more complicated. Like, what if we made it more complicated and we've acted like we didn't know? Like, maybe we should make this a game of complication and I can act like I don't already know what you're telling me to do. No. Like the fun thing about being a very busy witch is that I just simply do not have time to make things overcomplicated. And moving on now. Okay, so there's four 13th readers. I have to make these decisions. And then it's like, okay, I have to update the website. I have to scan it for like, how could I bring this to present time? What does the theme tell me that it is? The theme told me it's Wheel of Fortune, go big for your magic, go big for our world. And the table showed me another person that to create this role for Tegan West, calling her the staff holder. I only afterward like put it together that the Swedish word for seer is vulva, meaning staff bearer. This is my lineage. And yeah, staff holder, like I can make up the names that are magical for my business. And she's putting her staff into the space. Like she's a very magical person. I like being with her. We have fun together. Like, I just like doing it with people. Like, I don't need to do everything by myself. I don't need to take all the profits for myself. Like, it's more fun and pleasurable to do it together. So, Tegan, that was another decision, is like the decisions. I saw it. And I mean, between me seeing this position and me reaching out to Tegan was not very long. And Tegan probably responded to me in like 15 minutes. Like I sent her a WhatsApp voice note and immediately it was like, oh my God. Like she had just been having dreams about the magician's table and was thinking of asking me if I'd take her back as a 13th reader. And then she got this thing from me. I mean, it's so magical. So, um, that was really helpful. And then, so then came into the theme, and Tegan really resonated with the theme. And then when we asked the other 13th readers, they really resonated with the theme. Just this sense of like last year being 2025 being a hermit theme, it just made sense. Like it just, I could just see this wheel and like taking the wheel and just like, I'm just going to go big. And just shifting the energy. So this is a promo key is that like it does really help to create themes, especially if you do something regularly. It allows you to be in this specificity of who am I talking to? So when I was doing the devotion that's driving you as a hermit theme in 2025, I'm specifically talking to like very devotional magicians who like are deep in an internal practice, a private practice. And this is like the energy. And then this year, I was inviting people who are much more external, who are like wanting to be external. They're drawing their magic out. They're drawing the magic out into the world. So now I'm talking to a very different frequency, and my job is to remember that that's who I'm talking to, because we're drawing peers together who are going to be really pumped to be shoulder to shoulder because they're all in this energy of like go big. And like, yeah, that's going to mean that somebody that's like, no, I'm doing hermit this year, that person is probably not going to come in and pay, you know? But I have to trust that the seats are fated, they're going to fill, and they're going to fill to the frequency of who I'm talking to and allow people to not be for it this year. And that it's not only just like really clean promo, but it also creates like a challenge for me to, it's a challenge, but it's also a call to like be specific in how I'm speaking as I'm like trumpeting this in. And it's also like a brief to give my team, to give the 13th readers, to give Tegan, that when they're out in the world telling everybody about this, we all understand the frequency. And the frequency is we're going really big here. It's like big trumpets, loud. So we're embodying this spirit, like we're embodying this spirit. And it's really just such a huge then decision because like I really do for a couple months, I'm like kind of taken over by this energy. It's like I am a different me than I normally am to be the Mercury, to be the negotiator, to be the marketplace, like market vendor who is selling this thing. Like I feel the magician take over me, and like I promo in a different way than I normally do because I'm like in the channel with it. I'm in the music, I'm in the show, I'm in the garments, like I take it on as like it's like a performance, but in the sense of like embodiment, like embodying the archetype. I, for me, find that extremely pleasurable. Um, I don't, I feel so far away from like a me that might freeze because what do people think about me? Like, I'm not in that at all because I am completely in the character because the character is in me. Like, the spirit of that, the offering enters. And I find that so enjoyable. I have Saturn and Leo in the fifth. And I think that, as a kid, I was a child actor and I was a performer, a competitive ice skater. Like, I love like that feeling of like showtime. I do. Like, I love the feeling of like there being a kind of a backstage period and like preparations and like the teams getting together to talk about the show and like the needs and the timelines, and then it's like showtime. And we are engaging now in relational magic with an audience. And so it very is like we're like a traveling troupe, and it's so much fun to not be doing solo shows. It's so fun to do TMT because it's a group troupe, like we're a troupe. We were a troupe of six, four 13th readers, me and Tegan. And everybody has their role, everybody's got their role, and the show is on. And the curtain falls when all 60 have found their seats. It's pretty amazing, and sensing that you can really feel like the collective field is watching the show and everybody's deciding like, is this for me or is it not for me? But either way, I'm having a great time watching, like got my popcorn. And our job is just to stay in character, you know, just like the show is still going. Stay in character. Yes, I've got part of me is in awareness of like, okay, we have 11 applications in. We still have to fill, I'm like doing the math, 49 more seats. Wow, that's still a lot. Okay. Keep up the energy, guys. Like, um, and we it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop until the show is over. And the show is over when the seats are filled. So for me to stay with swords here, that also means like boundary was with myself because the voices, the parts of me that are like, oh my God, what are we going to do if it doesn't fill? Oh my God, we should have more. We must be doing this promo all wrong. The promo is not effective. The promo is clearly not effective. The voices that want to like take over and direct a problem, like pathologize what we're currently doing and like fix it. Or like make a whole game plan for failure. Ever ever experienced that, listener? Like boundaries, like Queen of Swords. Like, no, we're not going into those voices. That's not a thing. I love you, I say to my protectors, but I'll talk to you when the promo's over. I'll talk to you when the promo's over. Like, you don't get to be in charge of my promo. Mm-mm. No. This to me is very different than abandoning these parts because I'm acknowledging that they're there, but I'm the boss. Me, the larger 48-year-old Britten mystic who's in deep, deep stewardship channel with the table and the team and the mysteries and like those voices that are freaking out and mean and scared do not get to take over my promo. That doesn't mean there isn't like a few hours of a day where I'm like, or like texting my partner, Matt, like, can you pull a card for me to help me remember my power? Which definitely happens now and then. Oh, I have a business coach. I have a mentor. I have a relational magic. I reach out to Aislinn. And that's why I believe in mentors. Like it's that relational magic is intimate. So that when I'm in the midst of the ups and downs, I have someone that I can reach out to and I can like fortify myself back into my power. Like we don't have to do everything alone. That's what's so cool about investing in mentorship. It's like, it's just better. It's better that way. Not because they save you, from having to do the healing required to get into promo. They can't do it for you. They're there for you when you're in the ups and downs of it. You're still ultimately the one pulling yourself back up. So, um, yeah. I also have to make decisions like thematics of promo topics, like what's going to come through the podcast, like what's going to go through Instagram, what's going to move through the newsletter of mine, and just kind of like thinking strategically about the different channels that I have for talking to people and how to diversify the types of messaging that's happening. The truth is, though, that like I do a lot of that on the fly. Like, there's no such thing as me like designing that out at the beginning of January and then like following what I said I'd do. No, but I still like to have a kind of a sense. I still like to create like a framework. Sometimes I even just pull cards and it's like, okay, the podcast framework is this, the card. And then I just create from there. See that bit about don't be overcomplicated. You have tools, use your tarot deck. And then as I go, I adjust. Or like if I'm not feeling inspired, if I'm feeling resentful that I have to write a newsletter, whoa, 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 we got to shake things up because resentment has no place in this. This is like the luckiest gig on planet Earth. So hell no. Um, Excitement energy has to be a big deal. So strategy is always subject to change based on how excited I am. Um, Another really big practice that I have that's air, but I feel like it's kind of all the elements is um, so I connected through a healing session with Natasha Levenger, who many of y'all know. I have a podcast with her called Crystal Ballers, and I book and pay for sessions with her regularly because I like to self resource. And I she saw this guide come in at the beginning of 2026 for me that was in the form of a bird and invited me to really, when I am going to speak, to see myself as like perched deep in connection to this bird guide and then like sing, basically like bird song, sing from this perched place, and that this guide really wanted to help me spread the word about my work. So I was like very, 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 very connected to this guide through that whole promo. And then it turned out that birds were like a major, major, major omen piece for everybody in the promo, which really brings me to Earth, which I'm seeing as the deep support of being in group relational magic with the circle, with the six of us. And then of course I also see my two other teammates here, which is my assistant Stephanie, who's helping with all the logistics of all of these applications and keeping track of like who's paying what. And then my bookkeeper, Jacqueline, who's also helping me think through like payment plans and tiers and just making sure everybody gets to the right link and has everything that they need and they can get the events in their scheduler. Like all of those things, I have team for that as well. So relational group magic is just like so systemically fortifying and sound and like rooting and fun and it just feels good. It really just keeps you connected to the planet through one another. And what we just opened our WhatsApp channel into Big Magic like after we had our first group meeting in late January. And I think it was we really kicked it off. I remember now. I talked about it in the White Stork episode. I was wobbly and I was like, I'm feeling wobbly. Do any of you have any divination you might have some space to share with me today? Because like that would be really nice. And it's like, who do you think you're talking to? This is a circle of witches. And so like boom, like that channel is like lit up. Everybody's like throwing the omens in and like divining and like, oh my gosh. It was so exciting. My inner children were just like, this is how we always dreamed being alive would be. Just so it totally alchemized my fear into joy. And the whole promo then, like omens was everything was like about omens. Everyone was like seeing the bird omens. We had many birds with us. Um, so many omens. So much fun. Like, and at the base of it, it's just like the information says they're coming. The information is we're filling this. The information says we get to 60. There's nothing to worry about. Like, promote away knowing there's nothing to worry about. If you knew for sure, if you could trust that you are definitely going to get to 60, what would you do today to support this promo? So that's just like so clarifying and grounding. And like, it's not just me in my deck, it's relational magic. So, like, they're confirming it. And then people are seeing the same things and pulling the same cards. And it's just like the synchronicities are everywhere. Like, why are you questioning this? Keep going. So grounding, so grounding. And then through this, we had the webs of connection of all the people who know one another. So many referrals came into this particular magician's table. We also had a huge return of alums this year, people who did it in previous years wanting to come back. There's quite a lot of people on planet Earth who've done Magician's Table twice because you come back very different and you have a different set of calls for the return. The Magician's Table is not a thing that you're like, well, I already learned that. Like, no, that's not a thing. You come to have a totally new experience. It's an experience. It's not an AP test. So, yeah, the webs of connections, like bringing people together, it's huge this year, and it's fun that it's like not all my people from like my newsletter. It's a mix of people coming from all different parts of the globe and they're connected through different people to come in. Um, okay, so then we have water. And what I pulled here is Five of Cups. The truth is, I pulled three fives back to back, and it was like, fine, we'll talk about the fives. So this is the third key. The first key being Queen of Swords, like decisions, clarity, like get clear, update to present time, be clear, strategy from that. Earth is the relational group magic and how grounding that is to be connected to the planet Earth that is uh, bringing us all these omens. And then now water, which is really to me acknowledging the fears and the realness of alchemy. That is very much what the magician's table is. And it brings me into alchemy every year too, because I'm always evolving and I have new layers in me that are ready for alchemy. And um, it's a scary thing to say yes to the magician's table for most people. Um, so there's an element of just like really feeling, just like really feeling what it means for your audience to say yes. And like what's at stake and honoring that, like respecting it, respecting like that some of these containers we have are they dismantle so much of what you thought was true about yourself and the world. That's like big. So for me, it's like I am can never if my brain gets too far ahead of water, like I usually get slapped around a bit. Because like at a water level is so important for me to stay connected to the depths of what this is and the bigness of this commitment. And this is like this is proper. Like it's important to properly and appropriately bow to the people that are saying yes to the things that you're bringing them into and like really appreciate the level of trust that they're demonstrating in you in your space to be the one that's going to give this to them. Like like whenever we drift away from this honoring, we're like really losing our stewardship, I feel. And this isn't to shame drifting away because that can just happen, especially when you get really focused on like the executive stuff as a business owner. It can be easy to get away from your heart and to forget about staying completely rooted in that. That these are like one by one human beings. These are human beings that are coming in with their hearts and they're coming in with everything that they've ever experienced and all their longings for the future. And they're going to be there week after week. And like, whoa, you know? So a good part of my promo is often slowing down sometimes to reconnect to this. So I don't get so executive and like getting it done that I forget what this really is. Because usually if I lose connection, it it's obvious because like the promo begins to stagnate, you know, and the promo doesn't feel good. And so that's my signal that I've just need to slow down and tap into feeling again. And then that will reconnect me to like the water that we're all in and what connects us. And it'll open my heart. And like open hearted promo is just the best. It like it just is. So often when there's a deficiency with the promo, it's because there's something that needs to get rerouted with the heart. Okay, finally, I pulled Prince of Wands for fire, which I've been really intimating this whole time, but like party vibes. Like it's this has got to be fun. Like we're having a fun time. Um, I have long described promo as like a burlesque show where you get to like enjoy like teasing and like showing a little of this and like helping someone imagine like what's it like? What's what are they like without the those clothes on? Or like what's it like behind the curtain? Like this is fun. We're dancing. Um, we're being playful. It's erotic. Like, do you want to come with me or not? You know, like to me, being in a kind of performative show spirit, it's very healing for me, I will say, on the levels where I was raised to be a proper Southern girl who like has decorum and respectability and like, you know, marries well, quote unquote. So for me, like the burlesque archetype is like major taboo related to how I was raised and the kind of archetype I was put into as like eldest daughter who was like an A student who like was a good girl and a rule follower and like the ones that the teachers talk like the teacher conferences were always like she's amazing, there's nothing we could even add here. So for me, to bring in this archetype is me really embodying a taboo part of myself, which was harder to get into when I was newer at promo because just like the terror of being improper and that like, but I am proper, and like facing the paradox of like, what if I'm proper and improper? Like, what if I can hold all of that energy? What if I don't lose my elegance by tapping into burlesque dancer? And just like really disrupting all the questions, all the categories that I thought were binaries that couldn't come together. And this is what magic is, like magic is playing with categories and finding third ways between two options and like just breaking things up that feel solid and stable. Why? Partly because it's fun, partly because that stability is false and it's an illusion to keep you under control, and you recognize that. So, to me, like disrupting categories like selling is gross, promo is cringy. To me, it's like I, I, from a magical perspective, I disrupt that. Like, no thanks. Like, cause like I now am just so resistant to any like the things people say, and this is my liberation. This is like the joy of being a midlife woman. This is just like where all the fun is for me. And it makes life continuously more alive, more playful, more fun, more abundant. And it's just like really plays into a kind of wily side of me that I always, I think, wanted to embody, but I thought I had to be predictable and like categorizable and manageable to keep everybody okay with me in my authenticity. And I just like my younger self just was like, there was a deep sadness wordlessly. Like I didn't know that that was the problem because I didn't even know how to think in terms of a different way. I really believed, like most people do, that we're stuck with the categories that were placed upon us. And it's just like, wow, what a cool thing that all of that is bullshit. So, um, joy, heart, dancing, teasing, eroticism. Are we having fun? Who's coming to the feast? Who's coming to the festival? Like, we're like the Carney troupe, like we just started to have so much fun. Um, just sensing that we have this big tent that we're bringing people into. And we're like a traveling band of carnival actors. It like I really needed this. So I do think every promo for me is a healing experience because I bump into precisely like where I think I'm stuck. And then the like ding, 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 oh, you thought you were stuck takes you into how you're not stuck actually. And that's what I want to do in the Witch Sister Intensive is like you may not be able to see it, but I can see it. And I'll just ask some questions to poke holes in your version of reality so that you can start to see it too. And then like let the razzle dazzle take over, let the razzle dazzle take over. So much more fun to be in the razzle and the dazzle. So let me just feel into if there was anything more. I heard from so many people who were like, Britten, watching y'all do this promo was like a life affirming healing experience. And just like how cool that is. I just really like promo is its own is its own um transformation whether people join or not. When we're fixated on selling, we can lose sight of like, no, we're bringing everyone in for the transformation of this promo. And some of 60 of them are going to pay, and everybody else is not going to pay. And you're welcome. Hope you like the show. I just love that. And from an abundance perspective, it's like you don't know when the person who was a no for your current promo razzle dazzle, you don't know what's coming in the future. Like they may, it had a big impact on them, but for whatever reason, like the container is not the right container, it's not the right timing. And in the future, they are a yes. And part of the reason they're a yes is because of the impact of your current promo. So your current promo is for everybody who is coming in this round, but it's also for everybody who's coming in for every round of every future promo. And just trusting like the intelligence of that is a waste of your energy to like get into. Just trust like they're coming. I don't know when, but it doesn't need to be now. I just need to get the ones that are ready for now. The 60 that are going to be here now are the ones that I'm dancing for, especially. And I'm dancing for everyone else too for the times when they pay me in the future. And maybe they never pay you, but maybe they share your account. Maybe they speak your name. Like abundance is mysterious and magical. And like, thank goodness. I wouldn't want to understand the mechanics of these miracles, you know? And I think that it's just that the magician's table more than any other thing that I do because it's a certain fixed number, it just stretches me so. much promo wise because, like, for example, I have emergence astrology school promo coming. We always start summer solstice. Get ready. The next show is shortly coming. So that is a case where Britten LaRue, with the emergence astrology guidance, have a sense for a number that would an ideal number, but it's not fixed. And so because it's not fixed, we often will like back off, um, push the like drive to the end because we're like, well, I guess it's just this many this year. Like that's like the normal thing is just like, well, I guess this is the intelligence of this year, whether that's 70, 100, or 30, where with the magician's table, when you get to like a certain point in the promo and you still have more to go, you are like the razzle dazzle amplifies. They're coming in from somewhere. Like the show is not over. We're going to keep going. And so it teaches me like certain muscles and certain spells and certain a kind of gamely attitude. It's a gamely attitude, very mercurial. It's just a gamely attitude towards like, oh, I thought it was going to be done, but it's not. So now what? What do we want to do now? What would be fun now? And it some of that like stretchingness of like still stretching the door, still stretching the door, still stretching the door, still stretching the door, like that expands your capacity so that in your other launches I can weave in like the memory of that capacity and the memory of the gameliness and the strategy of like, well, we could have it close here, but then we could have another close over here. Or like I can remember early to tap into XYZ because that's what helped me in the end at that Magician's Table promo. And it just like really asks me to get to whole different levels of expansiveness every single year. There have been 2 years where it sold out like immediately. Then the other four, including this year, it was like razzmatazz, 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 well beyond what I thought I was going to be doing. And so if I'm like resentful and mad about that, that's not very gamely, you know? I'll give myself a moment to be like, oh, okay, that's not how I thought it was going to go. It's okay. I'll just hold this disappointment for a minute and then we got to get back in the game. So you got to be gamely. And resentment is like not gamely. So it really helps you to become like promo magic, helps you be very aware of like frequencies, like the frequency of resentment, the frequency of judgment, the frequency of doubt. Like all of those things you can become hyper sensitive to the subtleties so that then you can clear it. And like, no. Why? Because you love this so much. This means so much to you in your heart. You are going to be the Queen of Swords about that because you're the only one that can. Um, and they just aren't here yet. What would it be like to get back out there and have fun, you know? So the truth is, y'all, that I mean, when we were in the final week, I was on a walk with my dog, Bisbee, and I tuned into myself and I was like, if I found out tomorrow morning that all seats were full and I'm done, how would that feel? And just like really tuned in. And I felt this part of me that was like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Okay. So we have parts. There was a part of me that was like, I just want to be done. But when you talk to your parts, you can see that there's this other part that's like, no, we're not. We are not done. I knew perfectly well what I still wanted to talk about, what I still wanted to say, what I still wanted to create, what still wanted to unfold into the public forum. And I knew perfectly well that I wanted it to feel very like grand finale, just in time. And so then when you can like recognize this about yourself and stop shaming it and stop acting like you don't actually want that, it really eases things because then you can be honest with yourself. Because somewhere in you, you know where your absolute deadline is. Somewhere in you, you know, oh, well, I'm not going to, I don't want it to go on any more than that. Well, that energetic deadline will be your deadline. That's when everyone will finally come in. And so it's like we have to know ourselves really well in order to be like skillful with the truth of these deadlines. Also, so that we can communicate that to our team and to the people around us and to ourselves, because that secret deadline energetically is actually the real deadline. So, um, it's just good to know these things so you don't act like you're disappointed when it's really everything's happening exactly how you wanted it to. You have to laugh. We are complicated human beings with competing desires and contradictions. And this is why it's really helpful to have a mentor coach who sees these things, who can help you get clear on all of it so you can make decisions from a very self aware place that's honest about your desires and your energy. All right, that's feeling complete. Yes. So if you want, if you're like Britain, I want one of those spots. I'm going to be one of those people. I'm only doing this 3K 6 week promo intensive one-on-one mentorship as your witch sister through April 15th. Just through April 15th. And then this offer disappears. I don't want to think about it after that date. I'm just going to have the people locked in who've chosen to be one of my three in April, one of my three initiating in May, one of the three initiating in August, and one of the three initiating in September. So, what you need to do upon coming into clarity, I suggest pulling some cards and looking for omens. Reach out to Stephanie at info@brittonlarue.com with the subject line, Witch Sister Intensive. Tell us about yourself, why this sounds fun, and when you want to start. And that will help us identify the payment plan that would be most appropriate to you and help us identify that you are a good candidate for this. A candidate for this is somebody who is not brand new to promo. It's someone who like you are, you know what it's like to be in it. That way I can help you with the stuff that comes up when you're in it because you like already get that, like you're already, you have a lot of evidence. What you're interested in is not learning how to get into promo. You're interested in how to be bigger, louder, more effective, more magnetic, more audacious, but also like into it, like a person who's into it. And if it's fun, you're not dreading it, there's no resentment, you're excited. And if that feels good, and if you feel confident, like, wow, if I was stepping into that, then 3K is an obvious yes. Like 3K will come right back to me. It's over the next year. Then you're perfect for this. Just going to give us a sense for that in the email and we'll get you on the calendar. We'll get it going and you can know that like you are taking care of this, like you are addressing this, you're confronting this. This is going to change for you. I'm super pumped. Can't wait to see who you are. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this brought forth all kinds of interesting ideas, questions, other types of things regarding the possibilities of promo magic, the possibilities of launching really big and audaciously as a big show. Yeah, every year it's just such a great experience. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to the 13th readers, Lily Hussey, Leanne Thorogood, Arizona Smith, Super Century Shahir, to Tegan West, the staff holder, to Stephanie, and to Jacqueline on my team. Thank you to Matt, who holds me when I am in my inner child and I'm nervous and pulls cards for me that disrupt up my fears and bring me back to my power. Thank you to my daughters, especially the one living at home, the one who, since she was little, calls the magician's table the magic and the magician's tale. She read it. She's like, "What's the magician's tale?" We still call it that. Um, every spring break for the last 5, 6 years, like I'm either in promo or finishing it. So I love you. Um, yeah. That's feeling complete. Thank you to Aislinn Walton, my coach. Been working with Aislinn for 2.5 years now. I am so happy to give her my money because I feel so supported and just having someone by my side. I'm still the one making the magic. The magic's all still my babies. But it's so great to have someone to reach out to someone to talk things through with, and someone who really celebrates me in my expansiveness because I'm a very expansive person. This is the this is why it's like in your leadership, there are fewer and fewer people who can really meet you in your expansiveness, which is why it's really important to relieve your interpersonal relationships of that job and to invest in someone whose high skill is expansiveness, disruption, liberation, whatever it is that you're really looking for. Investing in that is going to be what takes you to all new levels of expansion because you're together, you're feeding. It's like the relational magic feeds and amplifies that expansiveness so that it's not like they're doing anything for you, but they're amplifying what you already have and helping you like get even bigger with your imagination, help you get bigger with the possibilities. That's what I am bringing to you in Witch Sister Intensive. Can't wait. See you there. I also have my 6 month membership if you want to go bigger and deeper and longer and like the long throw because that's a big time commitment. It's a big energy commitment, but like that's what I'm into. I'm into the 6 months and then re up and then I re up and then I re up because I can't even imagine not having it. Yeah, I think we really are complete now. If you're still listening and you've never left a review for Moon to Moon and you are enjoying this podcast, it like serves your life, it makes your day better, it soothes you, it expands how you feel and think about things. I would love it if you would take a moment right this second and just write like a 2 sentence review where you capture what listening to this is like for you in your everyday life, where you could choose from all these other podcasts and you choose Moon to Moon, or you chose Moon to Moon today. If you could snapshot that, it will really help somebody take a chance on Moon to Moon. And I would be so grateful and excited to receive it. All right, y'all. See you at the next one.